Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. It's a fairly small week for me, although I did have 2 trades in here. Let's go through it. Son of KAL-EL issue 4. So actually this cover is how issue 3 ended. It was from a different angle, but essentially you were seeing the destruction of the Kent farm. And needless to say, people get out of that situation. It actually leads John to meeting the Justice League, which is a really cool scene. And later, it wasn't until we hit this panel right here that I go, oh, Bendix is John's Lex. I'm really interested in that. I think it's a great dynamic. He is a great, I think, foil for John. And things continue to escalate as far as the story goes, and this series, I think, each issue ends on a cliffhanger, so it's a bit like Invincible in that way, where things are constantly escalating. It's really well done. I'm enjoying it. Gunslinger Spawn issue 1, I think I am officially now done with experimenting with Spawn. I was interested when Todd announced that he was going to be expanding the universe, that he was going to be involving a bunch of top-tier talent, and he is still writing. He's still writing, and his writing is the problem that I've historically had, and it's still a problem here. The art is by Brett Booth, so you may have certain feelings about how this looks. I don't think it looks that great. I think there's a level of detail that maybe the inker or colorist is making look more complicated than it could be. I don't know, it's fine. Ultimately, my problem is the writing, and neither really the writing or the art are that great. Bermuda issue 4, so I'm going to skip straight to the end here. I was talking previously about how I was hoping that this series would continue in some way, even though at the time I was on issue 3 of 4. So it ends with... Is this it? There we go. It ends, the end, it says, for now, and then the very next page, it says, there's an ad for the collection, and it says, the complete saga. So, what is it? Is it the end for now, or is it a complete story? I don't know. It's it ends well. It's good. It's still fun. It's pulpy, isolated island adventure story. I'm guessing they haven't quite figured out what they're doing yet, whether it's continuing or not. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I hope it continues. Figure your shit out. Batman Catwoman issue 8. This is where I really start to have problems with Liam Sharp's art. So it took me about half the issue to realize that this is supposed to be Phantasm. It comes to a page, comes to a specific panel later on. Let me see. Here. And as soon as I saw this hand, I go, oh, well, that's a very recognizable hand. I know who that's supposed to be now, but it doesn't at all otherwise look like Phantasm to me. At least story-wise, this issue is very interesting because Catwoman pushes back against Batman, and it's a worthwhile argument, I think. So it, at least as far as the writing goes, it's continuing to be interesting. I just don't understand the art choice of switching from Clayman to Liam Sharp. I will continue saying this. I think it should have been delayed. I have previously thought about dropping Thor because it wasn't as good as Aaron's run, and it wasn't as good as Cates' other books. As much as I love Throg, this issue is dumb as hell. Also, I miss As Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think that's all I have to say. Deadly Class Volume 10. I love Deadly Class. I think it's one of the best ongoing series on the stands, and probably is the best since Saga has gone on hiatus. However, I'll probably do a separate video on this, talking about the entire series. I, going into this, knew the Deadly Class was ending probably with the next arc, and I was already, I think, going through the stages of grief. All of these reviews are super short, just getting my point across, not going that in depth. It was really just a recommendation or not. And Deadly Class has my highest possible recommendation. I love the series, but I didn't want it to end. And by the end of this book, certain things happen that I am now okay with it ending. I could have continued loving it for years to come, but this escalated things to a level that I was not expecting. And I think the story has reached a point where I would again be okay with it ending. Destroy Monsters is the third Reckless book that's been put out. I think all of them have been this year. So Brubaker and Phillips. This, I'm going to say, is the best of the three. The other two were no slouches. This is, start to finish, just the best overall story and development for both Anna and Ethan. It's fantastic. There's added backstory, and there are decisions made that have consequences for everyone involved. It is overall really good. This is a LA period piece, but if you like crime fiction, if you like Brubaker and Phillips, I think by now you should know what you're getting, but highly recommended. So it was a slightly smaller week, but the graphic novel and trade really upped the issue count. If I were to pick a pick of the week, it would unquestionably be Deadly Class. Again, this is my favorite current ongoing series, and the only other contender is possibly Saga, which has been on hiatus for several years now. So, Deadly Class, no question. Get this if you haven't been reading. Thanks for watching.